Wake the kids, everybody. Wake the kids and phone the neighbors. We are live right here in the BTT studios. And I got to get this off my chest right away. But before I do, make sure you go to BTT Studios or behind the turnbuckle, subscribe to us, hit the notification so you know when we're on every week. And you will see why this is one of the best shows ever. Because I'm bringing my partner in crime in, Gabby.
Hello, my friend. I'm not even doing fun greetings tonight because I'm wearing this hat in celebration of Paul Heyman being MVP tonight, FAFO. But I know you got something you got to get off your chest, so I want to hear from you because I love an angry Tommy, and I'm hyped for it. Let's go.
What, Gabby, what was this crap that we just see for the last 15 minutes with Punk, Roman, and the Usos? First of all, Punk comes in the ring. He's over like a fat rat. He's been like that for 10 years, playing to the crowd. And he starts to talk about old because he has to come to that because he is friggin' old, right? And that doesn't mean and it's not bad either. But he talks about Gordie Howe. Half of that crowd didn't even know who Gordie Howe
Right.
was. I did because I'm old. That's why. And then we're waiting and waiting and waiting for Roman. And who comes out? The friggin' Usos come out. Last time I saw Gabby, is the main event the Usos and Punk? No, it is not. That storyline with the family and the bloodline was 2 years ago with Cody and The Rock. And who cares about the bloodline anymore? It's about Roman and Punk. Do you know what time Roman came out? I looked. 10:25. 10:25. They flew this guy privately to Boston and brought him out 10:25. Are you friggin' kidding me? He comes out, taking slow, looking on the mat, this and that. He didn't even talk to Punk. Didn't even talk to him. He went to his brothers, his cousins, and said, "Get the hell out of my ring." And then what does Jay do? He attacks Punk. And by the way, at that point, he's down. I don't care what Roman does to Punk. Oh, did he one up Punk because Punk punched him? You guys tell me in the chat. And Gabby, you could tell me, where the frig did this main event level up this week? Nowhere. Not one. Oh, Punk looked up and he was smiling because he put him through the table. What are we going to do at Madison Square Garden? Go on 34th Street and have him fight with the Usos there? Man, who is writing this crap? It is just horrible. And something has to be done because I can care one iota because I know at WrestleMania, Roman is beating Punk and is going to be the champ. Unbelievable, Gabby.
Listen, I said this from the minute that Punk dropped that line about Roman's father. I said, I don't know where we go from here because they had that promo segment, they crushed it. That was like a mic drop moment, and I feel like since then, Punk's almost been like clawing himself back to be back on top against Roman, and it feels very kind of ridiculous to me. Like, Roman's been calling you old the whole time, but now you're going to be like, I'm embracing the fact that I'm old. That should have been what you said 4 weeks ago, because then he wouldn't have had that to go against you. I think they're reversing the way they hyped up this feud. If they were going to take it to those extremes, that should have been what we've been seeing now, 4 weeks away from WrestleMania. And this was my biggest fear about how good those promo segments are going with Team Punk and Roman. I was like, I almost want to see nothing until Mania, or do something where you're going to really make it interesting, because everything good that they did kind of felt like it was shit on tonight, because I really rolled my eyes super hard. And I even said when we got into the chat, I was like, third week of the same exact ending. Third week of the same exact ending. We didn't see it, didn't progress the story anymore at all for what we're about to see at WrestleMania. And people were hyped to see it. They were high up on it. And it was like, what can we do to make people not hyped about it anymore? And now it just feels like Punk's trying to, be that guy again. He's making me try. Like, I used to love Punk on the mic, and tonight was not his best. It really
Nope.
wasn't.
Nope.
And it was the first time, by the way, him telling me he's not old was the first time I was like, he sounds like he's old. It did the
Yep.
opposite for me. It
Yep.
did the opposite, like the old guy trying to connect with the younger generation. Like, oh, well, I'm cool because I'm old. that's not how you got to do it now, because we're already past that. That's such a stupid insult. It's like the same shit all the time, and it's unfortunate because that's the probably most hyped feud heading into WrestleMania, and I don't know how we're going to continue after this week for next week and so on and so forth. Because if I was in that crowd in Boston, excited to see Roman Punk, I would be disappointed with what I saw tonight. So it's
It's just incredible how the Usos came out before Roman,
right.
and then Roman cuts his promo on them, and then Roman jumps on Punk 'cause he's vulnerable after Jay and laid him out. So what does that do for Roman? It makes him look small. That's what it does, guys. Makes him look small. And I'm a big Roman fan, but he did nothing. And I mean nothing for me tonight at all. It made him look like, excuse my language, a chicken shit. That's what it made him look like. And Jay's telling him, go get him. Now, here's what the funny part of the whole thing is. Jay's telling him to go get him. 2 minutes before that, he's telling him, get the fuck out of my ring.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Now he's listening to him.
My question to you,
I don't get it, man. I think if TKO thinks or Nick Khan thinks this is good shit, it is bad shit, guys. Michael Hayes, you guys need to wake up and do something different. I'm tired of face-to-face. He lays Roman out. Now Punk, and why are the Usos involved? Nobody cares about the bloodline anymore. I hate to say it. That was been there, done that. We were all riveted by it. We loved it for weeks. We didn't know what was going to happen. But you know why it was so good? There was a man called The Rock.
right?
And I hate to say that. The Rock who led that whole thing right then and there. It is just a travesty. You got two professional guys. Roman flies privately, gets there, and he comes out at 10:25, folks. And the rest was a schmaz. You got to do better than that, Gabby.
I hear you. I do disagree with you that people don't care about the bloodline anymore, because I think that that's not true. I think people do very much care about the bloodline, because here's my thing, Tommy, is what if all this does lead to something with The Rock? Like, are you going to look back at it and be like, okay, well, it makes sense if this is what it's leading to, or do you not even want that to ever happen again in this storyline? Because if so, you're not happy with it whatsoever. But if at some point that's what this is kind of leading to and they know that and we don't yet, are you going to be totally lost on it? Or do you think like they have time to kind of repair this for WrestleMania?
Look, here's my point. I mean, people do like the bloodline. My point is it's about Punk and Roman. That's it. That's what it should be about. That's how you build the main event. It's not about the bloodline and you got to stop talking about my family or I'm going to cry. It's
Right.
not about that. It's
Right.
not about that. And by the way, if Rock shows up at WrestleMania, then you know WrestleMania is a big failure this year because they need
I
him
agree.
to come out. He's the only one that could drive the force with the bloodline. But I want to see Punk and Roman. That's what I want to see. Before even Punk came out, Jimmy was telling Punk, oh, you better watch what you say. Like Punk's going to listen to that, right?
Right.
I mean, in the real world, guys, he's going to say, screw off, guys. It's not about you. It's about me and Roman. And then he played the whole thing up about old, which made him look old.
That's what I said. And he was naming athletes that are old. I was like, you're not like, I thought he might bring up somebody that's like, listen, obviously, I
He
even
could have
said
brought up LeBron. He could have brought up
Right.
LeBron.
right,
He brought up
LeBron.
Gordie Howell, who nobody
Listen, bring
knows.
up Tom Brady, who everybody's talking about right now. If you want to really talk shit and make it more, you know what I'm saying? Tom Brady's old. Everybody knows who he is. He's an old man.
Yes.
Like if you're gonna name people or talk about anything, I wouldn't talk hockey because I don't
No.
think that that's the biggest crossover, unfortunately. And I love hockey, but like that's his shtick. I get it. He's a massive hockey guy. Like I understand where he's coming from. I was very turned off by Punk tonight in a way that I wasn't expecting for myself, because obviously I'm more of a Roman lover in this feud because I love Roman, but everything that happened tonight at the end of the day did nothing for either one of them moving forward to WrestleMania. Didn't make either one of them look stronger. Dare I say, it made kind of each of them look weaker in the eyes of whoever was watching. If you were a fan watching on Netflix tonight and you don't know the history or you don't know anything, you'd be like, what the hell was that? You wouldn't
Yep.
even know who to cheer for because Roman didn't talk for you to like him, and Punk was unlikable when he did speak. So where do we go from here? You know what I mean? He doesn't need his backup of his brothers, who, by the way, are probably going to lose the tag titles next week anyway.
And you
So
know
it's
what the
kind of like,
topper is?
flex. What's the
You know what
flex
the
here?
topper is? In the middle of the show, the TV production guys that do Raw, I know them personally for 20 years. Phenomenal. They did the Punk Roman
Yep.
package. And you know what? Coming out of that package, Gabby, I was looking forward where they're going with this main event tonight because I knew Punk and Roman were there. Well, I look forward. Boy, once again, the package is better than the live thing right there. Something, I mean, if they're happy backstage right now, then we have a real problem. So I'll move on from that. But let's
Yeah.
get out to something. I want to start right away. Say I was wrong for last week and you were right. Let's get to Brock, Mr. Heyman, and the Giant himself, Oba.
Oba.
Where I said last week, right here on this show, that I didn't want to see Brock Lesnar be vulnerable. How wrong was I? Because you know why? The package they showed in that show and the social media buzz they got out of it, it was the greatest
Crazy.
thing that ever happened. And then tonight,
Mm-hmm.
Heyman, I mean, the guy, I mean, he saved the show, dude. In the
Yeah.
first segment, because we didn't know what crap we were going to see, he saved the show right in the first segment and then right in the Seth Rollins segment also.
Yep.
It was
Yeah.
unbelievable how good this guy is. And Brock, man, is he a professional or what? He came in the ring and we thought, man, I thought he was going to hammer Oba. We all knew Oba was going to come out. He comes out and once again he does the job. And what got me? Once he threw Brock out of the ring and Heyman's next to him, and that's when I knew he was really vulnerable. The look he gave
I
Paul
can't
Heyman is
believe
like,
you. I can't believe you just said it. That's exactly what I was going to say, Tommy. Wait, say it, because that's what I was going to say.
go ahead, go.
That look, I've never seen that look on Brock Lesnar's face before in my life. Almost fearful in his eyes. Almost the unknowing of like, this is someone I've never faced before. And what Paul was saying in the ring was, everyone's tried it, right? You tried it with this guy. He couldn't do it. Said Dean Ambrose. That place popped, by the way, massively huge when he said Dean Ambrose is. But he named all these guys. You said this guy was going to end Brock. This guy, not one of them did it, by the way. They're all done for, blah, blah, blah. And now you're saying Oba, it's never going to happen, whatever. Oba comes out again, tosses him over. And the look on Brock's face when he was standing there and Paul was like, no, 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 don't leave, don't leave, don't leave. And he was just standing there looking at him. It was the first time ever that you saw a crack in the monster that is Brock Lesnar. His eyes looked like there was fear in them and like genuine shock, like he was not expecting someone to ever be able to do to him what Oba just did. And that sold that match to me by far 1000%. And if you're going to tell me Oma Femi's not already a fucking star, like they've made him perfectly in the way that he's booked with Brock right now, you are out of your mind. Because it is unbelievable. And just the way the sound they made when the music came off because they knew his entrance and he was coming out, like, that is how someone's over. And if you don't think that's Brock doing that with him, you're crazy. I'm not the biggest Brock person ever, but like, holy shit, he knows how to sell that. And it was incredible. And that's honestly the match I'm looking forward to the most for WrestleMania now. It's actually crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure he orchestrated that whole thing with Heyman because now you
Yeah.
make we've never ever, and since I was there 32 years. I've never seen Brock vulnerable like he was. He was the kick-ass guy that nobody wanted to mess with. And now in 2026, we get this monster in the ring. And it wasn't even him being hurt. It was a look, Gabby. It was a look that you saw and I saw because we are fans of this product of wrestling, pro wrestling. We know what's going on in their mind. It wasn't like I'm hurt or anything. The look he gave Heyman was like, holy shit,
Yeah.
what did I get into?
Right.
And that's what sells the friggin' match right then and there. And with the boys back at the TV production facility building packages for this could be the scene stealer of WrestleMania, man.
Yeah.
If they work it out big time and I think it should be on Saturday instead of Sunday because I think Saturday's tickets are a little off more than Sunday. Obviously, you got Punk. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Punk and Roman are going to be first night or second night because now, what do you think? Cody and Orton is the undisputed championship, and to me,
Right.
that's always been the bigger title.
Yeah. I think
You
it's
think
going
that's
to
the second night?
depend. I could see Roman Punk being Saturday and Cody Randy being Sunday because I'm curious to see how this storyline is going to play out with whatever's going on with Randy as well. I think there's going to be some additives. I think some things are going to change still. So I think, and honestly, as much as people don't want to talk about, Cody Randy and they were so mad about it, whatever, like I'm looking forward to it more now because of what we saw from Roman and Punk tonight. I'm so kind of angry about it that I'm like, honestly, I'd rather see Cody Randy at this point, unless they mess that one up for me on Friday too in SmackDown. Like
Yeah.
I really don't know because you're right. It's the undisputed championship, and I feel like historically that championship is always the second night. I could be wrong, but at least the past few WrestleManias, that's kind of how it's been. I don't know if it's because the story's been bigger, but I mean, both matches are going to be good matches. I think actually Cody Randy might be a better match than Punk Roman, if you're asking me personally. But we still
Well,
have 4 weeks. A
yep.
lot can change. A lot of things
Yep.
can happen in these storylines. Like we still don't know who Randy's talking to. He's hearing voices in his head. It's all these fun kind of things. But there's
I,
still a lot going on until WrestleMania because
I want to talk
it's
about
ridiculous.
Randy and Cody, but we'll save that for the end because we still got to
Yeah.
talk. Other than that, I don't think Raw really moved the needle
No,
for
it was the same
WrestleMania.
shit, different day,
Yeah,
in my opinion. Like
yeah,
some things moved it forward. Like we started with Brock last week as well because Heyman came out and introduced and Brock came out when it was the whole Seth thing, but they elevated it this week. That's the difference. It was the same font. It was the what do they say? The same page, different font or whatever it is.
yeah.
Like same story, different font. And like that's what it was. But the people that were involved in the beginning this week sold the entire Raw for me. That was the greatest moment of Raw of the whole night. And Heyman carried the whole show on his back, if you ask me.
Again, with
That
Seth
that
and Heyman, right? He
Yep.
carried the whole thing, and that was really one of the first times I seen. And getting back to there, Heyman just knows how to dig the needle in,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Rollins gets pulled out, and that was the first time I ever saw that they looked like real cop. They had Boston police
I
uniforms
think it
on.
was real cops there.
I do
It looked
too.
like they
I
were
do
real
too.
cops. They didn't look like wrestlers.
Yeah, and I didn't know Paul Heyman had the thing where he can't get in touch with Heyman. So maybe
Yeah,
there will be a photo of Seth Rollins at the police station or something like that.
that
But
would be great.
once again, he pushes the needle right into Rollins. He falls for it, gets in there, and again, Mr. Heyman takes the bump. Now, whether they said Braun won't be back, that could be a swerve, right?
Right, right.
Braun. I mean, if we have Braun and Rollins, man. And if Braun is up to speed on everything, that could be a really good match.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm hoping and praying because that would be a quick little addition to WrestleMania with the time that we have left. But if anyone could pull it off, it's those guys for sure. But I find it interesting that Heyman, like when he was talking about it, was saying like, these guys are barely there. This one's hurt. This one's hurt. Like I'm kind of floating around, which he is, but he's still all over the show. He's carrying what's happening. When he said to Seth, like, you're gonna, your wife's gonna divorce you and sleep with half the locker room, and then your daughter's gonna foster care is gonna take over your daughter, and I'm gonna end up
That was
adopting
it.
her. Like, it's the way he says what he says. There's nobody like him. Like, I just can't get over how he can move storylines without being a wrestler. Like he doesn't even have to be somebody in the ring doing anything, and he can push people to the points. And like Seth hasn't wrestled in the last few weeks because he's still injured, but he's still one of the highlights of a show because he's in the ring with someone like a Paul Heyman. And like that's the effect that people like that have. And it blows my mind. And like the Brock stuff wouldn't even be happening if Heyman wasn't available. So I think Paul Heyman needs his own hour at WrestleMania.
You
I
know
think.
why? You know why? I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah.
Heyman, the things he says are believable. If I
Right.
was a little shit like Heyman, who his father was an attorney, and and you want to dig at somebody, you talk about the wife. You talk
Yeah.
about that stuff. It's believable, and that's
Right.
what we like. That's what we want. Of course, if somebody said that to me, I'd be running just like Seth. Well, not as fast as Seth, but trying to get there. But that's what makes it so good that he doesn't have to put his hand on Rollins.
Right.
He doesn't have to Brock get him. It's his words.
Yep.
Words mean something in this business. And when you say something like that, it makes him look like the biggest heel in the world, and he doesn't even wrestle.
Right.
And he
And it makes you
elevates
love
other.
Seth more. Seth
Oh my
is so
God.
loved now. When he takes off that mask, the pop he gets, I'm like, I didn't know if Seth would ever get back to that place, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's this what it has done for him in the year that it is, because do you remember the moment when it was revealed that Heyman was on his side? That was WrestleMania last year already.
Yeah.
And this is a whole full circle now at this point. And that's a testament to both of them at the end of the day, because you could have laughed at the whole, storyline with the masks. I know you didn't like it and all these guys running around, and like, listen, that wasn't the best. But what Seth has done with what he's been given and like had to do, you can't be mad at the guy for it, because he's gonna come back. When it comes down to that match with him and Braun, he's going to be so cheered and loved, and Braun's gonna be booed so hard, especially if he has Heyman in his corner, that he's
Yep.
going to be putting Braun's gonna be healed to the moon at that point. And like, that's what the beauty of this is. And listen, I hope it happens sooner rather than later. If Braun comes back next week, I think it could be epic, especially because I think Logan in
At the
theory has to win
Garden.
his tag titles
At the Garden.
at the Garden. And if Logan and Theory win those
Theory.
tag titles, which I think has to
Yep.
happen with everything Logan Paul's been doing. And let me just say this about Logan Paul, because I know we're going to get to it, and I know you're a fan of him, but like, I have to say this, like, what Logan Paul is doing for the WWE and pro wrestling is insane. And if you hate him, that's fine. You can hate him. But these other people talking about WWE and pro wrestling and all these other sports and in legends like Tom fucking Brady, if you think if Logan Paul wasn't around that like this would just be happening as nonchalantly as it is, you're out of your mind. Like, you can not like him, you can know no reason as to why he has millions of followers, but if you don't put a title on that man for WrestleMania this season with the sales that you have, you are so far beyond idiotic. I don't even know what else to tell you. He should be in every match at this point with everything he's doing, Logan Paul. Like, the tag titles are nice to give to him at this point. Him in theory, like, who cares? He
Yeah.
needs it, because look at what he's bringing eyes to the product for on an event that should have been sold out by now, and it's not even close. So you can't tell me that man's not putting in the work for that kind of shit, because that's what's happening. And that's why he's a valuable member of WWE and what he's doing. You could hate him all you want. I don't know him personally to like him or hate him. Everything he does on screen I like, because he's so easily hateable. But like, he is making every sport talk about WWE in the biggest time for WWE, a month out from WrestleMania. So if he doesn't walk into WrestleMania with a title and a match defending that title in any kind of way, we've lost the plot at this point. And that's all I have to say about it, because so I don't care how he wins it, but he's got to win something, because
Yep. And he's the only guy that cross promotes into what you just saw. That
Crazy.
Fanatics, what a joke, flag football, but he was there. He had heat with Brady, even though it was a work big time with Kevin Hart there.
It's
It
Tom
was
Brady.
Logan Paul stirring the
Right.
shit with everybody. The
Right.
one when he hit Jalen Hurts and everything. Brady threw the ball out. Whether it was a work or not, that's
Right.
Logan Paul from the WWE. Now everybody looks up and says, holy crap, maybe I need to check this out. No other athlete can do that on the roster but Logan
Right.
Paul. Maybe
Right.
Rock back in the day. Nobody else can do it because he's a purebred
Right.
athlete. And
Or
I'm not
bring
sure. I just want to get back to Braun a little bit. I think
Yes,
Double D
please.
had some dirt on it.
Oh, okay.
If he's around, Double D, can you come up and let us know what you heard about Braun if you're here? I guess Double D's not here.
Listen, Double D, since he's basically almost sold out his shirts because I wore them, thinks who he is now. Like, he did something to do it when it was me. So he shows up when he wants. He wasn't even in the pre-show meeting. You know what I mean? It's just, and we're going behind the scenes because I think that's fair. But this is what
Yeah,
happens, I guess. You know what I mean? They get their
we
heads
hey Gav,
for
we have some
themselves.
guy, some jerk in
Mhm.
the chat, and I would
Ooh,
love
yes.
for Mr. Man and Double D to respond to him. I'm not going to say his name. But can you see what he's saying?
This ain't the real world.
Yeah.
You two
Don't even
clowns.
put him over. Don't put him over.
I'm not gonna put him over. But also, like,
Why are you watching?
also,
Get the
here's
fuck
my
off.
thing.
Dude.
Oh, I love
Get
trolls.
the fuck
Please,
off.
if
Yeah.
the trolls want to come out, great.
And
I
I'll
love
meet
it.
you somewhere too. I'll meet
'Cause
you
you-
somewhere, anywhere.
By the way, you have so this isn't the real world, but you're in your real world watching our show and writing a negative comment just to see how we react to it. So, like, if that's your real world, I don't really know who's laughing and who's a clown or
Yeah.
not. But like, it is what it is.
But
You know,
I think,
it's real to me. Damn it.
Yeah. I think in pre-show, Double D was saying that he thinks Braun is at the PC in Orlando working out. So that could
Ooh.
be good. I mean, I'm sure he's a young guy. He's a fast healer, and man, I got to tell you, man, WrestleMania needs him.
Yeah,
You know that
I agree.
WrestleMania needs him.
I think Seth needs him too, in the sense of
Yeah.
like what story is going to make the most sense when Seth is back. But here's my thing: is if Braun comes back and Seth isn't ready yet, do we just have him kind of come back and at the side of like, is he going to be mad if they have the tag titles and he's not part of it when it comes to the division? And Heyman didn't even come out with Theory and Logan for their match tonight. So I feel like the vision's a little scattered right now going into Mania because of everything that's going on. So honestly, as much as like, yeah, he's been at the PC and he's training, I would be shocked if something happened with him before WrestleMania between him and Seth. I would love to see it, but I really would be surprised by it because I would think a match that big for those two, like you would kind of want the buildup to be fair for them as opposed to like rush just because it would be a good match. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. But I think the focus, if he does come back, it'll be on Rollins. I think
Yeah.
Heyman will make that happen. And by the way, moving forward, and because there wasn't a lot on Raw tonight,
Right.
Becky's promo is the same stuff. I've been the best for 10 years.
I will
This,
say, can I say something positive about it? Because I know you might shit on it a little bit.
no.
That was the best. And this is for what it is. You know, I'm not super hyped about AJ Becky. That was their best stuff on the mic that I've seen so far. The little bit about her daughter, making it a little personal, the little bit about AJ saying, I'm also your daughter's favorite, instead of them just being in the ring doing that like comedy shtick thing that
Yeah.
they did when like I hated that. This was just real to the point. I want to beat your ass, and when I do, your daughter's gonna like me more. Like the little bit of it, the back and forth. That's exactly what I want to see from Becky and AJ. Like you have the history. Let's not mess around. You want to beat the crap out of each other. And Becky's like, I basically own WrestleMania and not for nothing. She could be Miss WrestleMania. Becky Lynch has had massive moments in WrestleMania. She's not wrong. Bringing up the fact that the last time AJ wrestled was, over a decade ago, and she quit the day after WrestleMania. I didn't know that. Everything that was said, I think, was useful leading into their feud. And I think it was the best we've seen out of them so far. So I will say that's a positive in my book for looking at that feud moving forward. And I think it's going to be an incredible match. I'm not sure. But that was the best hype for a match that I was shocked to be a little bit hyped for. So I'll give them some positive for that for sure.
And by the way, could we do something different with Danhausen? It's the same thing. I'm cursing you.
Oh, I love it.
It's the same stuff. I love it too. I want him to come out during a match,
I know.
cut a promo, and say, you're cursed, and the guy goes down or loses. Something different instead of Pierce there playing with his glasses with I don't know who the hell he is, who has 180 million
180
followers.
million followers, Tommy.
He's friends. I know he's
180
friends with Logan Paul. What is it? What makes him famous? What can he do? Does he do flip? What is he?
I think he's like a streamer, so like people watch him while he streams. I don't know. Something crazy. This is the world we live in, Tommy. Listen,
Nobody has nothing else to do but watch I Show Speed and do nothing.
I think he's honestly the most famous for getting that spear from Braun at Rumble that had like millions of views. Do you remember that? That was, well, I think in the WWE universe, that's how everybody knows him now. But like that was one of my favorite moments of all time, by the way. That was awesome. But I don't know why he's always hanging around. I get it. He's got all those followers, but like, I don't know. Sometimes those crossovers for me kind of go over my head. Like I understand why they're happening. Netflix, I guarantee you more people watching knew who that was than most of the wrestlers. If you're So like I understand why they do it, but for me, I'm just like, all right, next kind of thing. So at least they put him in a segment with Danhausen. He wasn't wasting any time in the ring or doing something where it's like taking time away from wrestlers that I want to see. It's like I'll take it
I,
for what it
I
is.
just want to see Danhausen do something different. I want him to
Yeah,
come out where he really gets a pop from the crowd during a match. That's what I want him to do during a
maybe
match. If
WrestleMania.
he can do that, or be in the second deck, spotlight comes at him, and he gets the crowd, and the boys are pissed off in the ring, and you are cursed, and then you don't see him anymore. Can we get a little more creative with that?
Yeah,
That's all I'm asking. It's the
yeah.
same pre-tape every week. Am I right or wrong? So
No, you're right. It would be
it
funny if like they were backstage or doing something and Heyman was looking for like Rollins and there was a guy with like a hood on and he was like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And it was Danhausen and Danhausen just cursed Heyman for no reason. Like that would be funny because you wouldn't expect to see it. And I would just like to see Heyman's reaction getting cursed just because everything he does makes me pop. But I don't
one
know.
other thing I want to hit with
Yes.
you. Bailey and Lyra, do you feel in some way that Lyra will turn on Bailey if they
I
make it to
hope so.
WrestleMania?
I hope so at this point.
'Cause
I'm
it's
like, what are
it's
we doing this
it's
for unless for you to
it's
turn on
too
her?
hunky dory. It's too I like you,
Yeah.
you love me. And I
Yeah.
think if they want to build Lyra up more, because Bailey's already kind of been established in the business
Yeah.
as Lyra as this, oh man, you can't trust her after WrestleMania. She
Hmm.
becomes that character, it builds her up a little more. So
Yeah.
I just like it's just too lovey-dovey for me between these two. Now we're not sure they challenged Lash and what's her name, Nia,
Naya.
at Madison Square Garden. I'm sure that match will happen. I don't know what's going to happen there, but maybe he ends up at WrestleMania where it's like, you know, four tag teams going against Lyra. I'm going against Lash and Nia with Bailey in there, and somehow she screws Bailey and they lose the titles, and Lash keeps it. That's at WrestleMania. Now you have a new heel turn, right? And now
Mhm.
you have a storyline
Yeah.
with her. And I taught you everything, but no, you didn't teach me everything. Blah blah blah. I'm just throwing it out there. Like, what are your
Yeah.
thoughts on that?
Well, I think if there's anyone that needs character development and a bit of a change, it's Lyra way more than Bailey because Bailey's kind of done it all. She's been a heel, she's been crazy, she's been uber babyface, and now she's kind of back to now what's kind of working for her is being Bailey because she's winning people over, being kind of who she is. I think even just outside of pro wrestling, doing these workshops and having respect for the veterans because she is a veteran and she's been around for a long time and she's like kind of always getting that respect she deserves in the locker room and she's kind of beloved in that sense. So I think if you can't turn Bailey now. I just think it's too much kind of
No,
been there, done that. It's too soon. And like they tried to make her like she was losing it and going crazy, and then Lyra brought her back down to earth. So what I think you could do is if when Lyra turns on her, she'd be like, I had to be the one to, bring you back down. Everyone says Bailey, but like you went crazy and I'm the one who made sure you stayed sane. And what do I get for it? Like absolutely nothing. You got the title shots. You get these matches and like everyone looks at you and no one's paying attention to me. And like, when is it going to be my time? Blah, 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 blah. And like make Lyra a full heel. I don't want to see, her just angry at her friend. I want to see Lyra saying like, no one's understood me. No one knows anything about me. I'm never fully there. The crowd never gets behind me, even when I was champion, blah, blah, blah. I'm so sick of it. And like, screw all of you. I'm in this for myself. Because we really never, I feel like the crowd has never really gotten behind her, even when in her feud with Becky. Like, they liked her, but it wasn't like a full send on Lyra. So if that's not going to happen, you got to turn her and you got to do a full turn on her and see how evil she can be. And like, then give her some character development in that sense and make people hate her. I think that's the only way to go about it and switch it
wasn't
up.
she one of the original ones that came up with Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, and wasn't it her? Wasn't it those
Bailey?
three that came up? Yeah. Was
Yes.
she
And
when they came
and
from NXT, and then they had
Becky,
banger of a match they had to NXT, and they were going to the roster, and they all
Brooklyn.
hugged in the ring. Bailey was one of those, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So she was good for a long time, and then I don't know what happened with her,
They say
man.
that Bailey's one of the horsemen, right? Isn't it Bailey, Becky,
Yeah. Yeah.
Charlotte, and Sasha?
Yep.
It's I think when she was like the hugger, like the Bailey hugger, like that was like her thing, and then she turned heel and it was like massive, and then I feel like it kind of fluttered down. Like her last championship run they just did no favors to her. I just think it was not a good run. And like, I don't think it was fully her. I think it was talent. I think it was booking. I just think it was wrong decisions made creatively. But I've always been a big fan of Bailey. And, I think there's glimpses of why Bailey is so good all the time that we see. Like even that match between her and AJ, I was like, I would have loved to see her win that. Like I said, I would have loved to see her triple threat with Becky and AJ because like I would have much rather see Bailey as Intercontinental Champion than either one of them. I think she needs it more. And I like seeing those locker room leaders, those veterans shine. But for some reason, it's Bailey's another one where like I get in these arguments with Coach all the time. Like I love Bailey, and he's like nobody cares, and I'm like we had that massive argument, and I'm like, is that true? Like I don't think so, but it's weird who and when. It's so much about timing too. I feel like, and like I don't know much about it as a fan, but sometimes there's timing for wrestlers where like this is their time to be that uber person that the entire universe can get behind, and it doesn't matter if it's not the right time. Sometimes it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Look at Io. I was not sold on Io Sky whatsoever. I fucking love Io Sky now. Like, I don't know when it changed, and she's not even champion anymore. But when she was champion, wasn't a fan. All these things happen, and now, like, she's one of my favorite people to watch on TV. I just think circumstances change all the time.
Yep, absolutely.
I don't know if that's a good answer.
The show didn't do a lot for Mania. You heard what we had to say about Punk and Roman. And what I want to move to end the show is the Orton stuff with Cody Rhodes. And I'll go first and I'll let you go second.
Okay.
I watched it, and it's easy for Randy Orton to turn heel, right? I mean, in moments' notice, he can turn a heel. But you know what kills me about this whole thing? When did these voices in his head get into him again and start telling him what to do and this and that? One week, he's okay. That week, Friday, he comes on, and he had all these voices. Oh, I don't know. It's not believable. If it comes in if you wanted to do that, you do it in a couple of weeks where he acts some way towards somebody else and then he's perfectly fine with that same person. But you don't do it while I'm in the ring and I hear voices in my head and this is why I attack Cody and stuff. It's just, again, it's about believability. If you want to do stuff like that where somebody else is talking to Randy Orton, do it 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out, where, hey, man, he's not right. And then you could have Sammy, hey, dude, are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. And then he just switches, like, go fuck yourself or something like that. But I'm trying to say is don't do it that night in the ring and he makes him lose his mind all of a sudden. I hear voices in him. That's what's not believable to me. And I'm sorry, actually, Cody Rhodes, man, the guy is a trooper, man. He bleeds like a pig, just like his father used to bleed a lot and everything like that. So he's willing to take that because now he's doing it for the main event. And that's the only time you should be seeing blood like that. When you're building something towards the biggest show of the year, I don't have no problem with that at all. And also they said tonight, and I didn't know, Wednesday he's going to be on at Pat McAfee to respond to it. So it'll be interesting to see, and I'm going to hear your thoughts on it. Interesting to see what Cody says and what happens Friday at SmackDown. Tell me what you thought.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think this whole thing about being voices in his head is a little dampens the excitement for me a little bit, because when he was on the phone originally with somebody, I was like, ooh, we're gonna get another element into the story, like something cool could come of it, and I was like, that this could be interesting. And then I'm like, now they're leaning towards these voices and all this kind of stuff. It's not that it's not believable, but it's like I wish they would have planted this a little bit more ahead of it happening, to make me really be like, oh no, we saw this coming kind of thing. Which maybe they didn't because they wanted the turn to be more surprising. I'm never surprised when someone like Randy Orton turns because I think he is a natural heel and it's easy to hate him. So I love to see it. If it was the opposite effect, it would be much more shocking if Cody were to turn on Randy, but that's clearly not what happened. No. So I'm trying to wait this one out because I wholeheartedly believe that Randy Orton will at this point in his career not do something corny or something that the fans would hate. I do think that. And I know creative makes a decision, all these things, but I just feel like there's no way it's going to be as lame as it can be when it comes to that, because Randy's such a veteran that I'm like, if it was that bad, I feel like he would be able to say no and they would listen to him. But maybe I'm crazy and I don't know if that's true or not. Like, I don't know. But he's not new, he's not like a guy trying to prove himself. This is Randy fucking Orton. Like,
Yeah.
when I watched him on Elimination Chamber, I was like, he's having so much fun in his career, and that's why I love watching him right now. So I think it has to be something cool that's going to happen. I think there can be a big payoff because it's Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. And in my mind, I'm like, there's no way they would allow it to be bad. But also, I don't know if they even have the say or not, Tommy. Like, I really don't. And I don't know if that's like a naive way to think about it, the way that I think about it. But maybe I'm watching too many, behind the scenes things where I think these guys really have a say and stuff. But like, I have faith in Randy and Cody that they will make sure it's a good payoff for this feud.
Yeah, and I think Randy does have some say, just the length of time he's been there. And Cody would probably be in support of it also with
Right.
Randy if they had something going
Maybe
on.
that'll be something epic. Who
The
knows?
whole phone thing could be voices in his head because they can't get nobody. I saw somewhere on social media somebody said it was Arn Anderson. So if he brought Arn Anderson to WrestleMania, what's he gonna do to make Cody lose? Arn Anderson's like 60-something years old. He's about 300 pounds. Like,
Yeah.
oh, is he gonna shock him because he was so close to Dusty Rhodes, and that's gonna make Cody lose? No,
Right.
that's not happening.
Right.
What I did like, and it's not probably, I like the idea of Charlotte Flair
Yeah.
because
I heard Bully talk about that one.
yeah,
Right.
I like that, but Charlotte Flair was laid out in the ring, and then they cut to the phone call, so it couldn't be her, right?
Yeah,
So
and they're too much. She's like a face now, and she's in that whole, I don't know what it would do for her when it comes to like her and Alexa and this like tag team stuff that she's got going on, kind of the storyline she has. That I think to pull back on Charlotte and make her heel again or against one of the biggest baby faces in the company, when she's very much over now and like loved, would not really do her any favors. As much as that idea is something I love because I love that shit and I think Charlotte can get in the ring with anybody, man or woman included, and beat the shit out of them and it's believable. Like she is one of the GOAT, she's really the GOAT female pro wrestler to me. So like I love that idea. But I just think for what's going on with Charlotte right now, I don't know if that's the right time for that.
yeah, I don't know. Charlotte should be doing something else besides being an attack. She's just too good of a top
Yeah.
superstar to be that. The other quick thing I'm gonna hit on is Liv, Steph. They got me into this.
So good.
Liv
So
is so good at being a wild woman backstage. That was so real. That's what I'm talking about, folks.
yeah.
That being real. Nobody thought she was going to come out and attack Liv while the entrances had happened. She threw her into the Tron there. They
Yep.
go backstage, and as she's screaming, it makes it so believable that
Those
she's a
screams.
crazed woman
Yeah.
just fighting. That makes it believable, and that elevates the title right there. Not like
Yep.
Jade and Rhea, because I don't know what they're going to do. Because Jade comes out looking fantastic. Rhea looks how she looks, and I'm not even interested in it right now. I hate to say that.
Yeah, no. I mean, hands down, Steph and Liv is the most highly anticipated women's match for WrestleMania without question. That's what I'm looking forward to the most. I think that's going to serve the most for sure. Match wise, aura wise, just everything that they have going on. And that was what, 20 seconds, 30 seconds of them just beating the shit out of each other. And that
Yeah.
elevated it because I was like, oh yeah, they really hate each other. Like, that's what they've been doing so well with that storyline is like, I'm a girl. And I need to believe that these two girls really dislike each other to know they're going to beat the shit out of each other. And like, they do. They hate each other. Like, I would be like, oh, yeah, they really don't get along. Like, backstage, like anything, like, you can't tell me those two are cool and can just like be whatever because those screams that Liv Morgan does too are like such a Liv Morgan-esque sound. Like I don't hear people scream the way she does because, and that's why she's so good. And
Yep.
it took her a while to get to this place that she is now. I was never the massive Liv Morgan fan, and like now, it's just everything she does is so good. She's just crazy, but you hear the emotion in her screams of like I just want to kill you. And it's just it elevated them without words because words are not Steph's specialty either. So it's like I'm just gonna beat the shit out of you, and like we
Yep.
believe it, and
Yep.
yeah, I'm excited for that match a lot.
All right, Gab, this is it for us.
know?
It wasn't all in all. I'm sorry I went off in the beginning
I
there,
love it,
but
Tommy.
give me some final thoughts, and then I'll end the show, and we'll go from there.
Final thoughts. Not the best Raw. I do feel like we kind of rinse and repeat a little bit of the last couple weeks of Raw, but we got 4 weeks till WrestleMania. Which literally means it's around the corner. So I'm gonna need some of these matches and storylines to elevate themselves up a little bit for me to have some emotional investment, because I would say really aside from Steph Liv and I mean a little bit of Cody Randy, a little bit of Punk Roman, I'm not really no, and Oba Brock, I apologize. Oba Brock and Steph Liv are my two most anticipated matches that I'm excited for. And that's a problem for me because only, one of them's not even a championship match. So it shouldn't be like as anticipated as I am. So they got to step it up a little bit more. I don't know if it's promo wise. I want to see more video packages because I think I get more investment from those, like you mentioned. So I would say a rough Raw, a little below average for me. I'm gonna wait to see about Cody talking on McAfee show, and we'll see what they do for SmackDown on Friday.
And we'll react to it all right here on The Last Word. I got one thing for the writers, Triple H and everybody else. You are in Madison Square Garden next week, the world's most famous arena, and you better bring it. You better bring it with CM Punk and Roman. You got to give me something different. You have to get me invested why I want to see this match happen, because tonight it did nothing for me at all. So you're in the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. We got a lot of things going on here. I want to see you up this level big time. Big time. We are live here at the BTT studios. And let me go over a couple of things for you because we have a lot of pro wrestling. Tomorrow, Tuesday, 11:30, you got the Coacher and JD from New York on 2 Count. And every Monday and Thursday, you have Coach and Bro with my man Vinny Rue and the coach there. And then, of course, every Monday night, right after Raw, you have The Last Word with my secret weapon, Gabby. Tune us in right after Raw's over. We'll give you our opinion. If you didn't see what we said tonight, run it back on YouTube, and you could see how we started this show off. Big Tommy C was a little hot, but I'm good now. But you guys better bring it on Raw. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification so you know when The Last Word is on, because we have the last word. Thank you very much and have a great night.